Hello, hello. I'm going to talk a little bit about Dark Night of the Soul again. I think this is the first. That's we're just doing it. All right. So the Dark Night of the Soul, it hurts, right? You're confused, and you really can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're not sure how you're going to get there, and that feels really overwhelming. So here, what I want to say is God will only give you steps for the next thing. He's not going to give you lamppost to lamppost. Like, think of yourself in a dark tunnel, and you are your own light, but sometimes your light goes dim. And, you're at one lamppost, and you can stay at that lamppost and kind of feel fine. You're comfortable there, but you can see there's a dark tunnel, and at the end of that dark tunnel you see another lamppost, and over there is where you want to be. Over there you're like, well, that's happiness, that's joy, that's love, that's all the good things is over there. But in between there is all this darkness. And if you're strong enough to do it alone, then you can go from lamppost to lamppost on a cord of your own light. Think of it like we only have a certain amount of energy or fuel to get us from here to there. And if we're doing it alone, we're probably going to run out of fuel really quickly. However, if we have other lights with us, other fuel sources, then we have more light available to us to get us from one side to the other. These are our friends. These are our family. This is our chosen family. Maybe not our birth family, because if you're watching my videos, you're probably a black sheep and you probably are disconnected from your birth family. So it's the people that you have chosen to be near you. It's the people that inspire you. It's the mentors and people that you follow online, the people that trigger those feelings of inspiration inside you to get your own flame going. Even that, right? It doesn't have to be someone that's there in physicality for you. Sometimes it's just an inspiring video that sparks and gives you a little bit more fuel too. Two, right? As I said that. And so, but there are times. So in the dark night of the soul, okay, in that journey of the tunnel, first we have this lamppost. We're growing up. The first lamppost is the environment we're raised in, and this end lamppost is the vision that we have for ourselves as an adult, positive or negative, like wherever you're at now, whether it's positive or negative. One reason or another, it is our nature to leave this initial lamppost and go to the next one. So, whether that be because it's traumatic and abusive and toxic and just generations of negativity and criticism and shame and doubt and disbelief in magic and lack of godliness, lack of integrity, dishonesty, I could go on. I'm sorry. Get all that out of me. Yes. Okay. Or, I mean, so obviously you would want to leave that and go to the next lamppost. But even if you had a wonderful, loving, supportive, inspirational, beginning, you're still, you're still going to be encouraged to go to that next lamppost because you do have that base foundation of, well, if I can do this, what more can I do? Right? Like we're still always going to want to go to the next lamppost. And then what's in between is where our choices make the difference. And not necessarily our choices, because as some of my other videos I have mentioned, sometimes our choices aren't really up to us. We can choose to make our choices for our life and our ego human experience, or we can allow flow and God's choices to come through us, and we can follow God's path and make those choices. Sorry, I was distracted by an outside noise and now the flow is gone. It's amazing. The connection is so fragile. We have the light posts. And if you were born in a supportive environment, you're going to have those extra lights and extra fuel sources around you to help you carry a light from one lamppost through another. That dark tunnel is going to be easier for you. You cannot, like, that's just fact, right? So those people are probably, I say those people probably aren't going to be the ones watching my videos, but everyone, if you're on the path of growth, you're probably going to go through a dark night of the soul. So eventually, even if you did have that good supportive thing, if you have a fire burning inside of you, you're still going to outgrow those around you. And at some point, you will still find yourself in a season of loneliness, in a dark night of the soul, because it's required for growth. It's part of the recipe. And knowing it's part of the recipe, you don't have to shame yourself or feel guilty for going through it. How beautiful is that? You can release pressure on yourself for going through a dark night of the soul. It's not your fault. It's the recipe for growth. It is literally required, because when you start holding the power of God, when you start allowing that energy and flow to go through you, it is scary, it is intense, and it will drive you insane if you do not know how to wield it and hold space for it. And that's why we practice with the lower vibrational intense energies, so that we can gain the confidence that we know how to handle intense energy. We know how to handle those things that bubble up and take over our nervous system. We know how to handle those things that hijack our logical thinking in the moment, and we do things that we regret, right? So bringing this back to those that are in a dark night of the soul, or if you're progressing towards amazing growth, let this seed be planted for when your growth dives for the wave that is the recipe of life. Climbing out of the dark night of the soul is going to feel near impossible. And if you're aiming for the light at the end of the tunnel and wondering how you're going to get there, it's going to drag you down further. The idea that we want is a stepping stone, right? Like, we're not going to jump from light post to light post. I mean, you technically can, but it's not common. And so the step by step of the unfolding is more realistic. And after so I feel like a lot of us have this vision of dark night of the soul, and then we're breaking through right into amazingness. It doesn't always happen all at once. Some things are trickled in. And maybe if you think of it as a trickle, it can feel more palatable. It can feel more real, right? Like, does having $1 million tomorrow sound real to you? No. Does someone gifting you $60 to pay your electric bill tomorrow feel more real to you? Or to put some gas, or offer to fill your tank of gas, feel more real? Does that small miracle feel real to you? Yes. And that's what we're looking for, is those small stepping stones, those small successes, those small nudges of God that you matter, and he's there to take care of you. So the next stepping stone after the dark night of the soul, without thinking birds and butterflies and rainbows and unicorns, the next step is a desert season. Right? Like, when you're in the dark night of the soul, you're like, oh, I'm so miserable. I can't even imagine being around anyone right now. I don't even know who my friends are anymore. Everyone's gone. What happened? So the desert season comes after the dark night of the soul, and it's your emotions level out. So you're not in such despair and self-hatred. The emotions level out so that your head can start thinking. But you still have the emptiness where you've shed the old life, the new life hasn't came in yet. You still have this emptiness of solitude, because God sharpens his tools in private. Again, my mind just, I think my front door is like open from the cats. I don't know. I need it. I don't want to, and this is a great video. I don't want to interrupt it because I'm thinking about cats. Doesn't matter if the door's open. It's fine. Take it step by step. And when I entered into the desert season, I didn't know there was a desert season. That's why I want to share this, because I did not know that there was a desert season until I started going through it, and I wanted to dive into it and figure out what was going on. Like, that's how I live my life. Experiences come in, I question the experience, I investigate the experience so that I can do my job of experiencing the experience as a human. And the desert season is, you perceive that you're alone, and you perceive that there's nobody there for you, and you perceive the emptiness. But just know you haven't lost love. You haven't lost community. You haven't lost progress. It is just a pause. It's a moment of reevaluation. It's a moment of integrating everything you just went through in the dark night of the soul. Like, what would be the purpose to go through the dark night of the soul to distract it with joy right away? And you have no time. Like, you can't process the dark night of the soul when you're in the dark night of the soul, because it's so crazy and whirlwind overwhelming. So it's you need this neutrality that comes afterwards. This neutrality that comes after the dark night of the soul is what you can look forward to as a saving grace, as something to hold on to, as the light at the end of the tunnel, because it's a little more realistic than the light at the end of the tunnel, because that's very far away, right? Like, we just want to get to the next step and know we're not going to run into a wall, right? We're tired of running into walls. How many walls have you ran into? You keep trying and trying, and things just keep falling and failing. 11 as I say that, because failing and trying is just practicing on how to succeed. You are practicing how to handle when things go wrong. Because when you're on top of the world, do you want to be that person that freaks out when things go wrong and has a nervous system anxiety attack? Or do you want to know how to handle your emotions and these energies going through your body? Do you want to know that you have the confidence to make the right decision because you've taken the time to separate emotion, logic, God, 3D, 5D? You've developed your discernment. I guess that's what developing your discernment is, a beautiful thing. And that is really what the dark night of the soul is. But if you skip over the desert season and try to be like, oh my gosh, I'm not depressed anymore. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to join this club. I'm going to plan this trip. I'm going to fill my life with busyness. I don't suggest it. If you have really done the surgical work of a dark night of the soul, the desert season is what comes next. Embrace it. Plan for it. Right? Like, how many times did you waste a whole day in a fit of depression or crying or not being able to get out of bed or just in a spiral of mentality? And then looking back, you're like, wow, I could have spent that day doing something fun. Like, so maybe you were supposed to do some adulting and had errands and tasks and things that they didn't need to get done, but you wanted to get them done. And instead, you spent the whole day in a depressive episode. And then at the end of the night, you feel even worse because you're like, wow, well, I didn't do any of those things, but I didn't do anything fun. Like, why did it become a depressive episode? Like, if I was going to skip out on doing those things, I could have skipped out and went and done something fun. Like, why did I not go do something fun instead? I forgot where I was going with that because I got distracted. So, the dark night of the soul, we could have went and done something fun. Don't go and do something fun after the dark night of the soul. Allow the pause. Allow yourself to see what type of fuel that just stirred up for you. Make sure you're going make sure you've integrated the lessons to make sure your discernment is properly developed to move forward. And you'll feel it. When you feel confident and authentic in your choices, you feel it. You move differently, you vibe differently, you walk differently, you start changing. People feel it. And you notice that they feel it. Right? So if you're going through a dark night of the soul, be resilient. Develop those skills. Pay attention to what's happening. Because if you can get through it, your life is going to be amazing. I've had many ups and downs. And for every up I've had, or every down I've had, the up has been even better. And then I've learned that the better the up is, the more the down is. And then so it's a game. But the more that you know that, then the more the energy of them all balance out and level out. And it's easier to handle and win at life. But you have to develop your discernment. I don't like saying the word have, but because you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do this. You don't have to level up. You can stay the same. You can stay asleep. You can go crazy, and you can stay in a dark night of the soul for the rest of your life. An uptick is not guaranteed. I'm going to say that again. If you are in dark night of the soul, an uptick is not guaranteed. Pull yourself up. Only you can make that choice to overcome everything. And if that feels hard for you, then give the choice to God, to a higher power, or don't. I do not say this lightly. I have hugged many souls that have taken their own lives. I have hugged many souls that have had their lives taken from them while they were in a dark night of a soul, and they never got to come out of it. If you're in a dark night of the soul, take solace in knowing that you don't need to have the energy to make things better quickly. Just strive for neutrality, and God will give you a desert season to rest. Maybe that's the problem, is as we're in the dark night of the soul, we get afraid that we're going to have to expend so much energy to get back on top, and we don't. We can rest. God will take care of it. God will take care of the rest. Right? Like, we will get our time to mellow out. And I think the anxiety of thinking that we're going to have to perform and put out a lot, like that anxiety just makes it worse. And you got to delete that. Delete. You are allowed to rest. There is a desert season coming. There is a wilderness season coming. The Bible calls it wilderness. I call it desert season because I live in the desert. 15 years I've been walking this desert. Half of that very intimately so. Like, the connection to God and whatever existence is, you find it in the wilderness. You find it in nature. You find it in yourself. You find it in these struggles. You find it in the faith of the uprising. My name's Deb. I channel from Source about the human experience. Help you know you're not alone in your human experience. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're here to move from a 3D earth to a 5D existence, because we're here to do what we want, right? We're here to do what we want, and we want a beautiful life. So have a blessed day. Cheers.